Welcome, the Chad Ortega-Foster. Welcome to my show, Chad.
Thank you for having me, man. I'm super excited.
Let me introduce Chad to my audience. So Chad and I met for coffee, I don't know, about 6-8 months ago. And we met at a coffee shop, and it was love at first sight. Just the very nature of the human being and how he chooses to live life and how he sees life should be lived is almost like in perfect alignment with me and how I'm just like an older version of him, I guess you could say. So it mattered less about what we did and mattered more about us and our friendship. And that's kind of how it's been. Chad, as a business person, well, before I get into that, let me just tell a little about Chad. So Chad is somebody who is grounded. Chad is somebody who is always seeking the better path, even if it's the harder path to walk. Chad is the first guy to walk that path. He'll walk it because he knows it's the right path to walk, even though it may be more difficult. Chad is spiritual. He's driven to make a difference in people's lives. He's made a difference in mine. He is as straight up and honest a human being as you'll ever meet. He owns up to who he is, right there, right in front of you. It is a refreshing experience. I just introduced my business partner to Chad, and he never makes a point to ping me at night to tell me how impressed he was with somebody, and he was with Chad. And Bill has a big resume. Bill Marrow, my business partner. Chad, as a business person, is an operational mind. He takes chaos and puts incredible beauty and order into it. Hopefully there isn't chaos to start out with, but as a consultant, what he used to be, he would go into companies that they didn't have operations and systems, and he would make them lean, mean, and more importantly, he'd give business owners the ability to almost let the business run itself, where they could helicopter in and out, and they could be on the business rather than in the business. And that really was Chad's talent. And recently, Chad got sucked into, he got involved with a really, really, really cool startup here in Phoenix, a funded startup by the name of Yellowbird. And Chad is, of course, doing operations for them. And what Yellowbird is, and it's a long introduction, folks, but this is worthy of explaining. So what Yellowbird is, I like to create an analogy. If anybody's ever used Tackle, T-A-K-L, and you need to have a ceiling fan installed in your home, you can put that in the app. You could see a number of people in your area that can do it, and ratings on them and their resumes, and you could pick somebody and have them install your ceiling fan. Well, what Yellowbird is sort of kind of the same thing, but for the environmental health and safety industry, industrial hygiene. So if your company has an OSHA problem, an asbestos problem, a lead paint problem, an air quality problem, you can go on Yellowbird and you can find a hyper-specific specialist to help you, quote, make it go away, to get you into compliance or whatever that is. So that's what Yellowbird is, and it's taken a while to build out an MVP, a minimum viable product. They came out of the Complex Accelerator. And Chad, welcome to my show. Thank you for listening so long to my long introduction. You are a special person, so you are worthy of that long introduction. But now people know what Tackle is. What I want our audience to know is why I want our audience to understand better why I know you as a special person. we just had this conversation, folks, before I hit the record button. And Chad said something to me, which is so Chad, and it was so me, because I'd say it. He's like, Yellowbird doesn't define who I am as a human being. And I was like, well, I know that. In other words, is it his art that he's putting in the world? Yes, it is. Is he passionate, and does he give a shit about it? Oh my God. But the depth to this person is far deeper than any one thing, which it really is. It goes to a spiritual level. So let me ask you, Chad, and I ask almost everybody this question, how did you get to be this way? I mean, not everybody is like you. How was it how you were raised? How did you get to be the way you are?
Well, first off, thank you so much for the kind words and the fantastic introduction. Truly humbled by that. I would say there's probably not one thing that I could say this was the defining moment. It's been a series of ups and downs throughout my adult life that have kind of brought me to this point. Even in my early teen years, I always felt that I was a little bit different than everybody. I always wanted to think outside the box. I didn't want to follow what people were saying, right? I always questioned basically everything, not necessarily always in a defiant way. Yes, sometimes in a defiant way. I was kind of an ass as a teenager, as a young child. But what really did it for me, my understanding of who I am today, and my just constant desire for growth, really started coming about 18 months ago, really defining and searching for that meaning of who is Chad? Like, what am I connected to? Briefly, I'll give a side story. I was an Air Force officer for almost a decade, before joining Yellowbird, before doing my own consulting. I was an Air Force officer, and I spent time in Alaska, and then in Korea, and then here in Phoenix. Well, I battled depression throughout my entire military career. Yeah, absolutely. There were times in Korea where, you have those thoughts of what would happen if I wasn't here? And there was something that always just got me through that. And I wasn't sure what it was. Around December of 2018, 2019, I fell back into a depressive state. And so I went and started seeing, a therapist, and I was like, dude, there's something greater out there that is continuing to provide you these wonderful opportunities in life to keep you going. Like, you need to figure out what that is. And so it was kind of this culmination of events, but the therapist I was seeing, she gave me some material on Eckhart Tolle, or Tolle, however you pronounce his last name. Phenomenal content. Just really did not understand.
Power of Now.
It was exactly. There was the Power of Now and a bunch of different articles that he had written. It just didn't resonate with me. But I knew that, I was like, dude, you have to find what is this light source that is kind of guiding you through this journey that is life. And so, through kind of going through therapy, and then my wife and I, we just decided to take a random trip up to Flagstaff, and we saw an intuitive healer. We saw it in a random book in, one of the local things to do in Flagstaff. That was a very profound experience, even though we did it just to see, hey, what the hell would happen from this? But that was about February of last year when I went and started seeing that intuitive healer. And ever since then, I've just been studying up on meditation, my energy, my different, the 7 different chakras. And so daily, who is Chad, right? Daily, the first 47 minutes, if you want to get really granular, of my day are all about Chad. I get up, I do my for the first 47 minutes every single day are all about
Tell
Chad.
everybody. I want to hear it.
Obviously now with the virus and everybody staying home and quarantine, it's a little bit different. I still focus and do what I do. But normally I'm up at 5 o'clock. I roll right into my meditation. I do 10 minutes of breathing exercise meditation. I then journal 3 things I'm grateful for, 3 things I'm looking forward to, 3 things I'm excited about every single day. I've recently incorporated the Wim Hof breathing technique at the end of that session. And then I will get ready for the day just in total silence and in a mindset of being reflective and preparing to enter the day and kind of conquer each and every moment with being the person who it is that Chad wants to be in life, right?
I ask you, first of all, I love it. I lead a similar life. I meditate every morning and I exercise, I plank, I walk, I'll jog, do some stretching. I also journal, which is really good, folks. If you're listening, these are great habits. Habits are the indicators of what we will likely become in this world. If you want to know what your future is going to be like, look at your habits, even down to your habitual thoughts. And that's likely what you're likely to become. So you talked about that. And you said you get ready for your day. So let me ask you, what is your intention on how you wish to be seen when you get ready? So you show up and you're going to see Michelle and you're going to see Michael, or you're going to walk into a meeting with them. Just so you know, my audience, these are the other founders of the company. How is it that you wish to be seen?
That's a really awesome question. First and foremost, my whole life is predicated off of one very simple but very complex thought. And it's just to be absolutely present in every single moment of every single day. Where I am at is where I am meant to be at that point in time. That's easier said than done, especially right now with, the coronavirus going around and you're on all the uncertainty, whatever. That just requires an extra amount of focus on being where you're at. So that's number one. Really, the image, if you will, that I hope people see are somebody who cares about what he's doing. He cares about others. He approaches everything with a giving heart. And just somebody who loves life, man. Somebody who absolutely loves life.
It was a great question. Thank you for acknowledging that. And I'm not trying to pat myself on the back. But I realize now in retrospect, it was a great question, because that's something I think, if I'm going to leave you with something after this interview, is for you to have clarity over how you wish to be seen every day.
Yeah.
Because I have great clarity over that. And clarity is what makes us dangerous in life, sir, in the best way. So when you do get yourself ready and you are present, having that clarity is a really, really good thing. So why your brain is different than most people's brains. People in operations can look at a puzzle and kind of take it apart and put it back together. My son was like, I told my son he had to go into supply chain based, no bull, based on how he plays Rummy Cup. If you've ever played a Rummy Cue, I mean, he literally will take apart the entire table. He'll make 20 moves to get one. And I'm like, how can you see that and then put it back together if the move doesn't work? And he does it. Like, I can do maybe 5 or 6 or 7 layers in. I mean, this kid can do, 12, 15, like, layers in. And I'm like, okay, you need to go into supply chain or operations, right? So you have that kind of brain, right?
Yeah.
You have that brain that you can see things layers in. and then you re-architect them. Is that something that ran in your family? Is that something that you forced yourself to learn? Was that a natural
Yeah.
thing you had?
It was kind of a little bit of both, somewhat natural. But it all stems from my time in the military, right? You know, I did my undergrad at University of South Florida. I commissioned into the Air Force, and you know, for 3.5 years, I had just very, very high level leadership and operations training. That's what you are from day one. By the time you step on to your first low duty location, you are immediately in charge of a large amount of people. So day one, I had 45 individuals I was responsible for as this baby-faced 22-year-old. And they prepare you for that. So it's a culmination of that's kind of who I've been as an individual my whole life. I just didn't really know that. The second part of that is my training to become a military officer, and then an almost decade of running operations at a large scale. And then I have my master's in management and leadership as well. I love I love your little dog who just popped out here.
That's Jet. Jet's on the show.
I love it. I unfortunately don't have an animal that's going to come, steal the show like that. But that's where my head is at, and it's really cool to be a part of the Yellowbird, founding executive team, whatever you want to call us, because I get to bring that mindset into our organization at Yellowbird and help. I run the platform, and that's I'm not saying that in a braggadocious way. It's just, it comes easy for me because this is what I've studied. This is what I did at a very, very high level.
So what's the greatest satisfaction you're getting right now out of your work with Yellowbird?
Yeah, so it actually honestly has nothing to do with the operation whatsoever.
What is it?
The greatest hat that I get to wear amongst the many, if your listeners have worked in startups, they understand that you wear a ton of hats, especially as one of the founding members, right? Yeah, I got my hat that I wear with the utmost joy is I'm the head of culture at Yellowbird.
Oh,
And to me,
I didn't even know that.
is, yeah.
That's a serious, I mean, that's not just something that it's an idea. That has to be down to the operations, how you hire, how you fire, how you promote, how, everything is done.
Yeah. Our goal is to build an environment where people never want to leave, where we're constantly promoting innovation, where we're constantly promoting personal growth and development. We ask our employees, hey, dude, what is it that you want to be doing in 5 years, 10 years from now? Let us help you get there. Even if it's not with Yellowbird, what is it that you want to do? And what is it that we can do to help you accomplish your goal? Maybe it's somebody who doesn't have a degree and they want to go accomplish that.
At some point, I want to talk to you a lot about this, not on this show.
Okay.
Culture is something I used to help companies with.
Yeah.
I would love to talk to you about that, and maybe even help provide, because if that's a stake in the ground for you, then you've got to provide also innovative support to your people, and love to talk to you about that. So
absolutely.
So a typical day in the life of Chad is you wake up, you do that, you dive into your day, you're dealing with the platform. Companies now might have some health and safety issues with COVID-19.
Yeah, definitely.
They may need an industrial hygienist to come in and help them, never mind a lawyer or whoever else, but that's not what you do. So I imagine you're getting a lot of inquiries there, which is good for you guys.
Yeah.
In bad times, good things can happen too, to good people. And that's how I would describe you guys. So how would, let's say somebody who's listening has a friend who is a safety officer or a consultant or an industrial hygienist or an environmental health and safety consultant or professor or what have you, and they're like, they want to find out more. How do they find out more? Who should they get in touch with?
Yeah, they can absolutely contact me. Happy to chat with anyone who has an interest, whether it's an EHS professional who's interested in picking up consulting work, if it's a business owner, or just somebody who's interested in potentially, maybe they know somebody who needs help. Happy to have them have that conversation with them at any time. One of the things that we're really looking at right now is just being a resource. We're not out there, we're not calling people, trying to make sales under that. Obviously, we have to continue operating because we are a business, but we're really trying to do everything, again, approaching it with that giving mindset, right? What can we do right now to help businesses get through this time? What can we do right now to help individuals that are working from home right now get through this time? And so our mindset is constantly shifting, but it's always stays focused on giving. What can Yellowbird do to provide value and support?
Okay, so how they get in touch with you is yellowbird.com.
So the website is goyellowbird.com.
Goyellowbird.com. And how do they get in touch with you?
Yeah, they can hit me directly on email, which is generally the fastest way. It's cortega@goyellowbird.com. So
Ortega, Ortega.
Yep, cortega@goyellowbird.com. We're happy to have conversations.
Chad, you connect with Chad on LinkedIn. It's Chad Ortega-Foster, LinkedIn. And let's end on this. So I love how you want to help. What kind of help does Yellowbird need? And if anybody in the audience could help, what would they be helping you with?
Wow. So first off, again, thank you so much for even offering that up to us. The only help that we are really asking for right now is just if you know someone who is an EHS professional that either was laid off, furloughed, whatever you want to call it, not getting paid right now, please contact us. We want to try and help you get back to work, even if it's a couple projects, a couple hours a week. We want to continue to help. On the company side, if you're having inspection issues, if you're having, if you were affected by the COVID virus inside of your organization, it's probably a good thing to get an industrial hygienist or one of our professionals out there to do some sort of check so you don't have repeat issues. If your workforce is not working from home, which there are still many businesses who are not, they just don't have the capability to do that. Please contact us. We'll work with you. We'll figure something out, a way to help you through this time. And then, we are going to be opening up our next round of investments, I think at the end of the month. It's April 1st. So if you're interested, contact me about that and I will put you in touch with Mike, who handles our investor relations. But mostly we just want to give, man. We want to be here as a resource for businesses and companies and the professionals.
I love it. Chad, you're a great guest. You're a good person. You're a good human being. I'm proud to call you my friend. Thank you so much. And folks, if anybody knows anybody displaced that's in the environmental health and safety industry, contact Chad. He will help them.
Absolutely.
And they may be able to find him some consulting opportunities because there's lots of them right now. So Chad, thanks so much. Have a great day.
My pleasure. You too.